it is no secret that I come from affiliates, big, small, and everything in between. I've led chapters, user groups, and orgs, and I think affiliates are amazing. They are part of the backbone and the infrastructure of our movement and can enable work both locally but also thematic work across regions. Affiliates are able to take on roles that the Wikimedia Foundation or even a future global council may not be able to do. So in short, I believe that they should be highly involved in the selection process and should be part of determining who is on the board and make sure that there are representatives that reflect their position, their view as a meaningful stakeholder in the movement.
Just like the communities or the affiliates, the role the affiliates played in this particular election, where they were involved in the candidate analysis, this is the kind of role I definitely like, or the affiliates should definitely play when it comes to the selection of board members, and as well as paying attention and also voting to select candidates who would represent them and also promote the mission of what they stand for. And not just this, they should also be involved in educating their various members on the essence of the election and voting to select members on the board. Thank you.
The original idea was that affiliates would be able to use their contacts to find good candidates that the wiki communities wouldn't be able to on their own. But in practice, it was just affiliate leaders who would end up being selected. I agree with the direction the board has taken in having the community do the final vote for what traditionally would have been 2 affiliate selected seats. But ultimately, the use of affiliates as a primary wasn't effective, as the analysis committee consumed more time than the value it provided. Instead, it would be good if affiliates can use the connections they have with community members to run get out the vote style events and keep their members engaged and active in the voting process. As this election has shown, we should aim to keep the official process as simple and straightforward as possible.
Affiliates play a major part in the Wikimedia movement, and they play a complementary role to the Wikimedia Foundation. Therefore, affiliates should have a say in the board member selection. Affiliates represent various stakeholders with unique ideas and challenges that would enrich the board. Now, with the advent of regional hubs, I believe the focus should shift to selecting representatives from these hubs to represent a truly global movement, rather than the affiliates selecting the board members individually. Ideally, these hubs would cover the different regional and thematic areas in the movement and allow for diversity within the board. Also, the proposed Global Council is another way affiliates can have a say in the board selection process.
The original idea behind the election process via affiliates was that they can identify and propose people from their wider partner networks who would bring new perspectives into the Foundation board. However, in practice, the process has selected community members instead of people from their wider networks, which reduces the value of having a separate process. The general situation is also changing now. We will soon have the Global Council, and affiliates will probably want to focus on selecting council members instead, particularly given the way that the Foundation board's role will also change at the same time. So it may be worth rethinking this role, but I wouldn't want to commit to supporting any particular approach without talking about it more with the affiliates and wider community.
Hi. As a longtime board member and even a president of the affiliate, I like this question. The role of the affiliates in selecting the Wikimedia Foundation board depends very much on the role of the foundation itself. In the future, after the movement charter, it can be very different. Maybe there will be other central body or bodies. Maybe the governance will be assured by a network of entities recognizing each other. I don't know. For now, Wikimedia Foundation plays a central role. It keeps the trademark, the servers, and most of the code development as well. It keeps and distributes the majority of resources, and it recognizes affiliates. It runs global programs, etc., etc. So, to larger or smaller extent, it affects lives of any communities forming a chapter, smaller, larger. So it seems fair that these communities should have their say. What is more, these communities represent, at least to some extent, larger groups of editors, groups of readers. They are also a growing resource of knowledge about their local context. They have the insight how to do wiki things. They have own programs. They have experience, own governance. So I believe that this is smart to use them, at least as a resource. Personally, I believe that both editing and affiliate activist communities, which very often is the same, should have their voice. In fact, the more mature we are, the more community seats in general we should have. I think the Wikimedia Foundation should explore changing this proportion of selected and elected members to be more democratic. We are 21 years old after all.